Thank you, Cynosure, for providing the auto equipment for not only the players, but also the casters. My name is Anatoly. Joining me is Taco on the desk. How you doing, Taco?
I'm feeling pretty good and definitely more than excited to finally get into some NA SPL action. We got to kick off with EU yesterday, and so this should be a pretty thrilling day. We
saw a lot of epic EU action yesterday, but we have a promo for you guys. If you log into SMITE today, first win of the day, 150 gems. I know what I'm doing after the cast.
I mean, you can be doing it right now at the same time. You got that dual monitor setup, so there's always that to keep in mind as well.
While listening to your Sennheiser equipment as well. But this is what the teams are playing for, the path to HRX. After the regular season, these going to be a gauntlet session where we're going to see 5 teams per region, 4 of the bottom SPL teams, 1 challenger team battling into the gauntlet into the Super Regionals.
And of course, everybody has to keep in mind that the points racked up here in the fall split are really what we're going to attribute to that ultimate setup. So they've got to keep all of this in mind. Definitely the pressure is on. It is crunch time, so to say, for all of these regions.
Switching things up a little bit, though, because it's going to be online now instead of the LAN. So some teams are a little better on LAN than they are online. So if Rival don't make it to that LAN portion there, they might be struggling in the online gauntlet phase.
It's certainly something to keep an eye out for, but I'm certain that all of these teams are still going to be working on improving themselves. And of course, you just mentioned Rival, but there's always to keep in mind, we did get to see that EU action yesterday.
A lot of splits yesterday, specifically the Energy versus Valence squad split. The third set of the day was very epic there. Dignitas defeating Rival, Obey Alliance defeating out Poppies there. Is some really interesting things. So we get to see the standings there in the EU side of things. But let's take a look at today, the North American schedule.
We saw a lot of pretty crazy stuff coming out from EU yesterday, so I can only imagine what NA might have in store. Typically, NA has been trying to sort of tag along to the older brother EU recently. They haven't exactly had the greatest luck during the previous lands, but of course, I'm sure that these teams all have something new and fun to bring out today.
And let's talk about the second set here today. It's going to be Luminosity Gaming against Noble. This is a very interesting matchup in my eyes because of the solo laner Aquarius here going into Luminosity.
It's got to be a different feeling when you're going from the team that you were previously on and getting, I don't want to use the word poached, but just picked up by Luminosity. It's such a great experience for Aquarius. He's had his time to really build up and start to shine, and it's clear that they've got to see something in this guy if they want to bank their chances for Worlds on him.
The grind is real, and he's been proving himself outside of the rank scene, behind the scenes, and respected among his peers. A lot of members here from Luminosity are sure to make a statement here against Noble.
And I can only imagine what all these teams are really trying to whip out for today, trying to bring some really fun SPL action, of course. And like we mentioned, Aquarius is certainly a member to keep an eye on. Luminosity, they've been trying to claw their way back to the top of NA. So I think all around this should be a pretty exciting matchup.
Well, we'll see if Luminosity and Noble, how that pans out. But the first set of the day is going to be Trifecta versus Mighty Storm. More soul laners to talk about here, Taco. We got Kiki versus Uzzy.
I feel as though Uzzy is almost like a work of progress. Like, he is a phenomenal player. He had such a strong showing during the relegations period, and I'm sure that that's only going to continue to harbor his potential throughout this SPL.
I believe he was the first Grandmaster qualified into that role this split here, so we're seeing a lot of improvement here ever since he's made that transition from console to PC, and then the other side of things, Kiki as well. You know, bouncing between teams to teams, in the challenger circuit team, going the distance with Oxygen Supremacy, now being picked up by Trifecta, has been making a lot of plays happen.
Most of the players in the current SPL would say that Kiki has always been prepared to come back into it. He was mostly just doing that Oxygen Supremacy stint while he was alongside those guys because he trusted his teammates, and that is a really important aspect to keep in mind for a player, somebody who is able to develop a strong enough synergy with his team that he's willing to try and bring it out during a challenger circuit as opposed to just going straight into the SPL. But now that he's back, he's been looking better than ever.
All right, so real quick, though, before we throw it to the casters, Luminosity versus Noble, who are your predictions for that one?
I would actually probably put it 2-0 for Luminosity.
I would actually have to agree with you on that one. But this first set of the day, You got to give me a number here, Taco.
I think that Trifecta ultimately probably have a little bit more experience, and that might give them the edge to win this one with a clean 2-0 against the Mighty Storm as well.
Let's see if the Challenger Circuit team, Mighty Storm, can take it against Trifecta. Let's go ahead and throw it to the casters.
Thanks so much, Toli. And yes, Agro's joining me here for the very first set of North America here. Over in the 4 split, the most important one, we've got a relegation team that actually came up. 2 teams in NA actually did that. The first one of those, Mighty Storm, going to be taking on Trifecta in game 1.
And that's a tough ask for their first week in the SPL. A lot of these players, their first time in the SPL against Trifecta, who, for my money, is probably the NA favorite right now. This is a team that looked phenomenal at DreamHack Valencia.
The best out of NA.
By far. And it really wasn't close. They really should have beaten Energy. A couple late-game missteps lead to them losing in that first round, but Trifecta is really strong. Now, they have some changes, too. They lose Ionic. He retires. They pick up Aror. It's a roar. Like,
side
the
grade,
man's
upgrade?
a beast. It's a play style change in my mind.
Sure.
I want to get into it, but we don't have a lot of time right now because picks and bans are ready.
Picks and bans out. Let's get into it. Game 1 underway. Finally, NA is here, and the question is, are they going to play the same style as EU? And we're going to see some jank supports. We do have Aurora in this game.
I'm down for some Raijin.
Raijin support?
No, well, yeah, I think Raijin support could work.
Oh, God, don't start. He's barely in mid yet. He's played 1 game in mid, and we're like, you know what?
What do you mean? He's got a
support.
mez. He's got a mez. He can taunt.
He's got a mez.
Fear.
With his ult.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do you need?
Well, I mean, I guess it's the same as Sir Cat.
Yeah, exactly.
She's got a kiss.
And that's close range. Like,
that's true.
A little and small.
Well, no Hell, no Raven, and RTO will be banned, shockingly enough, followed up by Skadi. So top picks available. Terra's on the table, and we've seen a lot of Terra just lately.
Terra probably the selection here, but it's going to be Camazotz instead. Cynosure very comfortable on this god, and Cyno is one of those guys that you want to make sure he's on one of his comfort picks.
Sure.
Looks like one of the best junglers in NA when he's on those, and that comfort pick list just keeps getting bigger for Cynosure, and that's a big reason why Trifecta is starting to look better and better.
And the one thing we've seen from Camazotz, from what I can tell, especially in North America too, is the rise of the warriors. They dominate the jungle right now, but the only assassin that's really being flitted with there is Camazotz. Is that because he can, like, technically deal with the warriors a little bit better?
It's because he's got that ultimate that takes him out of combat for so long. He can hit you all 3 shots through Aegis. He's got insane burst damage, and he can handle those warriors a little bit. His burst damage works really well with the penetration style build. Sustain. Camazotz really just has it all outside of the CC.
Well, a lot of damage on Trifecta here. Chulainn, Camazotz, and Thoth. A little bit lacking in CC with these 3, I'd say, overall. Obviously, Chulainn has that knock-up from his ultimate, but outside of that, they are lacking a little bit. Slows and, you know, situational stuns.
A little surprised that Trifecta picks the Thoth into the Odin right away here up against the Mighty Storm, but Hurriwind's positioning is usually really strong, and so you're just kind of relying on the fact that you're just not going to be close enough to get Odin cage, and that's one thing that Thoth really excels at. He's got the longest range out of any mid-mage, so he can sit farther back and make it more difficult for that Odin to cage him.
Well, Mighty Storm, recognizing that Aror is on Trifecta now, just like everybody else now knows. We'll ban the Ares just in case. Obviously, we were talking about potentially lack of CC. Ares brings plenty.
That is plenty of CC, especially against dashes, and Terra, Odin, Cernunnos all have dashes or leaps, and no CC immune ultimates in there either. Smart ban by a Mighty Storm.
Osiris for Mighty Storm here. Pretty safe in the laning phase for the most part. Are we expecting Osiris solo? I think I am with Odin jungle.
No, I'm expecting Osiris jungle, Odin solo, because Uzzy's on a Mighty Storm. And Uzzy's,
he loves his Odin.
Yeah, Odin is Uzzy's premier god.
That makes sense.
Odin and Nike, probably the 2 headliners of Uzzy's god pool right now.
And a Khepri, the first Khepri of the fall split here as well. So the god pools continue to slowly grow in week 1, I will say. Sol finally locked in for Mighty Storm. No real surprise there. Sol's been in and around for quite a while now alongside Kronos. Very similar in terms of escapability, I want to say.
Safety, damage, push power. I mean, Sol can shred towers better than just about any regular ADC. Really just a well-rounded pick in the mid lane. Can really never go wrong with it.
Well, into game 1 we go. Trifecta versus Mighty Storm. Big situation for Trifecta here. They want to get to a good start. Obviously, Mighty Storm will be trying to find their feet, but they need to find it quick here, Aggro, because the league cuts to 6 at the end of this split, and if you're in the bottom 2, you are done. No chance for recovery. So Mighty Storm, even though they're against potentially the favorites here, finding some hope at least is very important.
Plus, you got to keep in mind that Ghost isn't playing with a Mighty Storm right now. It's going to be Akillathehun, aka Turtle Man, in that duo lane. Someone who's played with Uzzy for a long time. They've been on a lot of teams together. during Uzzy's time back on PC in the Challenger Cup scene. So, you know, there's at least a little bit of synergy there, but they're pretty far apart. And Ghost was a big reason why this Mighty Storm roster got through relegations.
Yeah,
Ghost played out of his mind. And so it's a matter of how well can Turtleman play in his absence.
Start the game, Trifecta, very defensive. Look at all these wards down on the minimap. You can see there's 3 down at the moment from Trifecta. Defensively on their own side. A little bit worried about potential invades, I guess, against Osiris and Odin. You could expect it there. And with having Hou-Yi starting his own on the left-hand side for Snoopy, that's why he's got some wall coverage too.
I really like Aror starting in the mid lane here with Hurriwind because Khepri's push power is excellent at level 1 and Terra's is not. So even with Vivian here, with Wolp in this mid lane, doesn't really matter because Aror and Hurriwind are going to absolutely outclear in that scenario.
Bit of a trade-off on the right-hand side here. As you can see, Mighty Storm pushed in the first wave to the tower in the solo lane. Cynosure will turn up here alongside KikiSoCheeky, but the blue buff being targeted by Mighty Storm. They'll get the babies, but that's all they're going to get.
Cyno does hit level 2, and now Uzzy in a little bit of trouble, does have that lunge, so he can get away, but I love that Kiki lets Cyno clean up those final 3 archers underneath the tower to give him level 2. Really smart play.
And now there's still pressure onto Uzzy, who's not got his leap available, but the shell will keep him topped up for now. And the cleanup is there from Cynosure. Screech to the rescue, 1-0, and Camazotz on the board.
And now it's Mighty Storm in a lot of trouble. Vivian plucked back in. Hurriwind's going to find that stun. This is going to be a second kill. Kiki claims that one for himself. And Trifecta already off to a good start, up 1,000 gold already.
Well, it's going to get worse too because the Mighty Storm pushed in that solo lane, went to invade, and their buffs were still up in the jungle. So Blue's been taken over there by Kiki and Cynosure. And then the mid lane composition of Hurriwind and Aror will take the speed too, which means they lose even more.
And Hurriwind's the one who gets that speed, so now he can try and rotate over to the left-hand side.
Look at the levels.
A little bit easier. Oh, that's brutal already. Leveled in just about every single role so far in Trifecta's favor.
So now it's back to pressuring again. Cynosure is so happy as Larry now at level 4 in the backside. He's just going to invade the back copies, which are worth quite a bit of experience.
Cyno has done this quite a bit as of late in ranked as well. I always notice him going for those back harpy invades because they are worth so much. And he probably, the first person that I noticed doing that a lot was Captain Twig in Europe. He was always looking for enemy back harpies. Cynosure paying attention, realizing that Twig's having a lot of success doing that. All junglers who are able to invade on the enemy back harpies are finding success. And so Cyno, with the heads-up play, continuing to take farm away from Plazma.
Now Snoopy in this dual lane here, just hit level 5, did start here on his own. Obviously, Akillathehun got a little bit of support right at the beginning, but other than that, they've been just evenly trading amongst themselves. Obviously, Hou-Yi has a little bit better clearing the jungle than the Cernunnos, which gives him a bit of an advantage.
And as I mentioned, there's some pressure on Akillathehun here to fill in for Ghost, but with the rest of your teams doing this poorly right now.
Still a fight, though, going on between the two. There's no minions in that lane. The fight is going. Suns are down from Snoopy. Akillathehun in trouble as he gets knocked up again. Just trying to box out, realizing he can't get away, but you don't want to turn tail when you know you're dead. You generally want to try and box it out. In the end, Snoopy comes out on top.
Turtleman is always going to be playing aggressive in that lane, and so, again, Snoopy just kind of taking advantage. Hou-Yi's so good in that 1v1.
Kiki in trouble here, stunned in place, and with Vivian and Plazma there. Surprised that they back away. Will run from Hurriwind, who gets the stun onto Plazma, but there's no real follow-up from Trifecta here. They're happy just to make sure their jungle stays standard.
And as I was about to say, there's a lot of pressure onto Akillathehun right now, and when the rest of your team is losing this badly in the early game, you kind of feel some pressure to make a play like he did there, trying to take that 1v1 fight. But it's a very fine line. Sometimes that is the right play to try and find that solo kill and get a lead in that lane. But when you do something like that and try and make that play and end up getting soloed in response, now the only lane that was even is no longer even, and you lost that lead as well.
And look at the net worth from the left-hand side. The bottom left of your screen, you can see clearly everyone on Trifecta is ahead of their lane opponent. Obviously, Cernunnos still amongst them, but at the same time, he is 500 gold down on Snoopy. This is huge. Trifecta in a dominant position already.
3-0, 4 minutes in, and I mean, Uzzy still isn't even level 5. He doesn't even have that ultimate yet in the solo lane, and Cynosure has been level 6 for quite some time now. Kiki now level 6 as well. I mean, but Mighty Storm has one ult to use 4 minutes in.
Well, looks like we may see Snoopy go for a 2v1 situation here. Look to steal away the purple buff, which I think was successful, and Akillathehun trying to help out. His support puts himself in an awkward position. The ricochet. So close, yet so far. And Aror will say, thanks for all the hard work there, Snoopy. I'll get the buff.
And Snoopy doesn't get a kill there, but gets the buff and forces 2 players back to base. That's a ton of effective farm that Snoopy just stole away from a Mighty Storm.
Plazma on this right-hand side getting stunned by Hurriwind. Cynosure following up in the ring used by Uzzy defensively. Pretty wise considering the situation.
Very smart play there by Uzzy because his jungler was completely dead to rights if Cynosure gets a chance to continue that chase on. Hurriwind still had the ultimate, but probably not enough damage to bring down a half-health Osiris without having a pen boot or the Book of Thoth finished yet.
Vivian still only level 4, doesn't have the ultimate available just yet. Aror, Hurriwind, and Cynosure turn up, and that's what you're going to have to do. Your Mighty Storm play very safe right now. The scary thing for them, in my opinion, is Osiris is behind, Odin is behind. That's your front line, and we both know that those 2 frontliners can be amazing, but if they get behind, they do really struggle.
And every time I just look and see that Cynosure is level 7 and just did half of Wolp's health and 2 abilities, I get a little bit more scared for a Mighty Storm because Camazotz is probably the assassin you don't want to give a lead like this to at this stage in the game, because this is where Camazotz is the strongest at this stage.
He's going to trade out with Plazma here. Plazma has a bit of support from Terra, but it's avoided the route there. Into the sky goes Cynosure, waiting for the Aegis to wear down. 2 in-hands should be enough. Cancel that, just the 1. Vivian's going to try and help out, though, to try and turn this around, but instead he's got to get away. Cynosure's feeling confident.
Again, a double kill, 3v1. Cyno just no worries in the world. Wolp's got to drop the ultimate there off of the stun from Vivian. You know it's not going to kill Cyno, but you got to at least make him consider diving that tier 1 tower. That ultimate's not going to do you any good for the next few minutes.
Welcome to the Pro League, Mighty Storm. Cynosure showing the hard way in. And I've got to say, Cynosure's transition from console to PC has been the cleanest of anyone that has tried to do it.
The dude's a beast. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He's been absolutely amazing ever since his transition to the PC. And as I talk about it all the time when it comes to Cynosure, didn't come in with the biggest god pool.
No.
But Trifecta did a great job of drafting around that, putting him on the comfort picks, picking him the Circuit
They nurtured
early on. Exactly. Just saying, okay, that's fine. You can get there eventually. We'll work with what we have right now. Right now, you've got a top NA jungler playing for Trifecta because he has grown that god pool. He has looked more comfortable on everything else. His decision-making's cleaned up. His mechanics have always been great, but everything else that needs to come along with those mechanics has slowly matured, and now Cyno is, without a doubt in my mind, one of the best NA junglers.
And he's got the potential to grow into one of those huge ones that lasts a long time in the jungle for North America, being seen as one of the elites of all time, potentially. Cynoshure's in the right direction right now, and he's doing so with his team. 4 kills out of 6 for his team, and involved in one of the other ones as well. Not a bad situation as a level 9 jungler. And
I love that last kill for him in that mid lane on Wolp underneath the tower, because you know that's Aror saying, hey, I can root him here. And Cyno saying, I've got Blink, I can close that gap, find that root underneath that tower. Already showing that these two are finding some synergy, even with Aror just recently joining the squad.
Look at that gold lead for Snoopy on the left-hand side there. I mean, we look at the Cynosure 4-0-1. We talked about his control in the jungle. Snoopy is free farming all the way. He is 1,100 gold up of everybody. And look how far down. He's 1,000 gold ahead there of Cernunnos.
I mean, Snoopy's been playing Hunter for a long time. He went away from it for a while, but that's always been where he's found the most success.
Yes.
And if there's going to be someone who knows how to push a lead in the dual lane, it's going to be Snoopy.
Pressure from distance, coming out from Hurriwind, and cleanup crew is there. Stun into root, into boom, and now this could be a goal fury because Snoopy's coming back from base 2 at the same time at level 12 at 8 minutes. Yes, that's level 12 at 8 minutes. That's insane.
Look at where Plazma is, though. He was just invading onto Trifecta's back harpies, so there's no way Trifecta's going to know he's coming from this angle. Problem is, he's on level 7.
And he got stunned out by Hurriwind with the ricochet from Snoopy too. The Aegis buys him a moment. Over the wall goes Plazma into the Gold Fury, and there's the Suns with Cynosure. Swoop, there it is. Gold Fury leached again.
Love what Cyno does there. Zones out Akillathehun, and then just turns to clean up that kill, ensuring that Osiris is going to fall.
Hurriwind on zone duty with literally no mana. The last of that will stun out enough to give Trifecta the first goal for you this game. And yeah, Mighty Storm are getting a really harsh welcome to Pro League play.
Sometimes this is what you need, though. You need that feeding to try and learn what you need to work on, and that list is not short. Yeah, the list is not short thus far for a Mighty Storm.
I think the biggest situational change that I would have probably done is based off that very first push in the dual lane that Jungler and Solo did. They went to invade the blue. If they would have gone to their own half of the jungle, a lot of this may not have happened. Like, they may have still lost kills in the laning phase by juking out there, but they wouldn't have lost their own speed in blue. And that is just continuing to develop further and further now?
I think the Trifecta just played the early game really well because my first reaction whenever I see a competitive team with a Hu Yi is that you know they're going to leave the Hu Yi alone because he can clear so quickly. So that's why you try and have your support go by themselves. Raffer does it all the time for energy.
Yeah.
Go and not allow that person, that Hu Yi, to do that. But that's why the 3 wards were there for Trifecta to prevent that, as Kiki taking this 2v1 again without much worry. But because of Trifecta's ward coverage, Vivian should probably not be in that mid lane because with Aror there, you're not going to find that push power. So go in the dual lane, make sure that Akillathehun can get comfortable in that lane right off the bat and find some push power for him in that dual lane instead. Wow. I think that's the adjustment that I would make, but I'm going to be honest with you, Hindu. When Trifecta's playing this much better than you in every aspect, your start isn't going to make that much of a difference.
Well, 10 minutes in now, 9-0. Portal Demon and Fire Giant do spawn. Don't normally talk about the Fire Giant in that sentence normally, but in this situation with how this game is going, it could be looked at a lot earlier than we normally will see.
I don't disagree with you. That could be this could be an early Fire Giant pull, no doubt, because Snoopy is level 14. As soon as he gets those Devourer's Gauntlet stacks, that's when that is going to really be on the table for Trifecta.
And Hurriwind is playing target practice this game, it feels to me. He's throwing out a lot more stuns than usual. Generally, you want to save that stun for defensive purposes, but not worried. Meanwhile, Uzzy, he needs to be worried, trying to use the cage to his advantage, but Cynosure to the rescue, and Kiki's like, that hurts a lot, but I'm still going to live, because the archers were just out of range.
Not even close. Trifecta's not going to die there. Come on now.
Meanwhile, Hurriwind in mid. This is reminding me of, what was the game yesterday that went the same way? Burrito versus Elevate. Very similar to that situation.
This is probably even a little bit worse than that one. I mean, that was an impressive performance, but this is dominance right now by Trifecta.
This really is top versus bottom of the SPL, this split, I feel. Mighty Storm looking to try and establish themselves potentially and get something. Trifecta looking for the win. They're the best team, the best looking team we saw at DreamHack, but we do have some changes in North America too, which could shake things up a bit.
In North America as a whole did look better at DreamHack Valencia. They didn't find any victories. Trifecta was the closest, but as a whole, I think that was an encouraging start for North America. That being said, they have to continue to raise their level of play, because look at what Valen Squadron just did yesterday.
Yeah.
Look at what all of Europe, I mean, even with Dignitas finding the 2-0 over Rival, Rival played really, really well in game number 2. You know those guys are going to be looking good.
Blink from Cynosure looking to farm up Wolp in the mid lane, not just the creeps. Support from Vivian's a little bit late with those walls. The root's going to be avoided by the leap from Cynosure. He's on the money now. It's going to force out the ultimate from Wolp. The Bat Out of Hell's online. It's not going to be enough to get a kill here, but the investment wasn't too bad. Did trade an ult.
Really nice body block there from Vivian. Prevents Wolp from falling. Cyno, if he hits that second ability onto the mid laner, he's dead. No doubt about it. But Vivian knows that cooldown's coming up. Even if he can't find the root because of the jump, still trying to get in between Camazotz and his mid laner. And that's the best thing you can do against Camazotz, is just take the damage elsewhere instead of where he wants to put it. Everything he throws out is body blockable except for that ultimate and the jump. So you want, and those are his 2 less sorts of damage. The 1 and the 2 are really where he's getting the majority of that burst. So good heads-up play there from Vivian, saves the life of Wolp.
Paul Demon about to go down here. Gold Fury due to spawn in 50 seconds as well, so Trifecta have more opportunities on the map. You can see with Mighty Storm being so far behind, they have to play so passive. It means that the majority, if not all the jungle, is Trifecta's now.
What has Snoopy been doing on the left to get a 4-level lead?
That's what I was saying, like he was level 12 at 8 minutes. How often do you see someone in level 12 at 8 minutes?
Snoopy knows, man. Snoopy, again, as I mentioned, just so good at finding this farm.
I mean, I guess some of this comes down to the fact that nobody on Trifecta has actually been to the duo side of the map, which means they have left him with all this side of the jungle for himself. So if you factor in oracles, potentially, red, purple, backs, and then you've got red and purple potentially of Mighty Storm side, it does give you this potential.
That, to be fair to a Mighty Storm, though, no one can rotate over to this side because Snoopy has too much farm. If you try and gank him right now, he gets a double kill. That is how far ahead he is. There's 0 chance Plazma gets to impact that duo lane now. He's level 10. He's 6 levels down.
Scariest thing is Aror's had to do nothing this game so far. He's got a Khepri ultimate that's not even been needed. Nobody on Trifecta has even got low enough to be concerned. Snoopy now showing that he's looking to solo the Gold Fury. Classic Devourer's Gauntlets. That's what this is here, aggro.
No one even close from a Mighty Storm. And honestly, even if they were, it would probably just end up in kills for Trifecta. Now 11,000 gold in 14 minutes. And keep in mind, This is a meta that everyone is talking about. Long games.
Yes.
You know, this is not. There's not a lot of snowball right now,
well,
unless your name's Trifecta.
It's not going to take too long. Aror will get credit for a kill, and Hurriwind will clean up Vivian. He's had enough target practice to hit that. Cynosure's going to get a bit of poke there, but well-timed Aegis, so we'll get him away from the danger. And now Akillathehun a little bit too far forward there, going to be knocked to half health, and full minion wave coming in means Trifecta are going to be looking for the tier 2 in mid, as well as getting the tier 1 on the left.
I don't know if a Mighty Storm's even going to get a chance to get tower damage anywhere but this solo lane.
Go on, Uzzy.
Uzzy's doing it. He's going for that tower.
Do it, Uzzy.
You know, if he gets this solo tower, he actually won the lane, right?
That's a good point. Whoever gets the tower first wins lane, which means Snoopy won lane. It also means Hurriwind won lane.
Yep.
But KikiSoCheeky, what a failure. What a failure.
Can this guy just win a lane already? Like, come on.
Well, with a wall, Akillathehun getting hit by Hurriwind, I don't think Snoopy recognized that, otherwise he might have got in for a bit of action himself. Cynosure still play forward. Uzzy did it! Somebody won lane on Mighty Storm. There's the upside. Even the cameraman's cheering along too.
We did it. It's not a kill, but it's a 1 lane.
I mean, technically, kills are worth less than towers.
It's true. Always.
And you can't win the game without killing the objectives.
That's right. You can win the game with 0 kills.
Correct.
Can't win the game with 0 tower kills.
God, you're so smart.
So smart. That's why they paid me the big gems.
Level 18 for Snoopy now, 2 levels away from 20, obviously. At less than 16 minutes in this game, you generally, we've always spoken about with how SMITE is, you're looking at about a level a minute is what you're after. And seeing somebody, well, over 2 minutes ahead of the pace is a little bit on the crazy side.
That's scary stuff. And he's already got some crit Wind Demon completed for Snoopy. Meanwhile, Akillathehun just now finishing his Executioner, so he's down an entire crit item. And he's only, how many stacks is that on the Devourer's Gauntlet? 41, I believe. So really not that close to even finishing off the Devo Gauntlets. A little over halfway there. Snoopy's fully stacked. That is a massive difference in power between the two hunters.
Well, it looks like Trifecta are very upset with Uzzy, so they're going to start paying attention to the solo lane now and even things up over there for the time being. And pressured the final tier 2 tower remaining. Yes, the final tier 2 tower remaining at less than 17 minutes in. Only 3 archers here, but I don't know how much of a defense Mighty Storm can really put up. It might be up to Uzzy to try and make a play or just surrender this one, as there's 2 members trying to fight Snoopy on the left-hand side.
But Uzzy had to use his blink defensively to get away from Cynosure, who was behind him as the rest of Trifecta started pushing that tier 1 tower and right. Well-timed transformation from Kiki, right exactly as Trifecta wants it. Not to necessarily get kills, but to just intimidate a Mighty Storm that much more and force them back off that tower.
Well, we mentioned the FG at 10 minutes. It's going to be a 17-minute attempt by the looks of it. The whole of Trifecta on this side. And with Snoopy at level 19, he'll make very quick work of this, let alone the rest of his team are nice and healthy and nice and damagey too, I should say, with the builds that are coming through. Look how many items they have over their opposition.
Yeah, that one's going to go down. And no one on a Mighty Storm is going to be able to say anything about it. Plazma getting some much-needed farm in this duo lane, but still only level sitting at level 13. Snoopy's still 6 levels up.
Yeah, everyone's ahead. Aror is ahead of everyone on Mighty Storm outside, I believe, of Akillathehun. That's crazy. When the support is that level compared to you, you're going to have a bad time, because even the support can take you on 1v1. Talking about 1v1, Akillathehun's going to have one with Snoopy, and bad news bears is Cynosure was waiting. Cynosure wanted to get involved to steal the assist. Over the wall goes Cynosure with the blink. Plazma's going to Aegis early on. Still under pressure, though, as the Terra ult comes through to help him out, but the sprint at the same time from Aror.
Then there comes the ultimate from Cyno as well. Plazma not even going to be able to survive it. Cyno gets kill number 8. And forces Wolp back. Nice ricochet there from Snoopy. Auror's there waiting, and Cyno gets the double, but he didn't deserve that double. That was all Snoopy.
So they're back to base for all of them again, because they're not really in a position to. But that finishes the final. Everybody buy. Let's go and end, potentially. Now try and get a Phoenix at least.
This is power potion territory for both teams. I mean, this is spending 500 gold when you have literally 2 items completed for the power potion feels really bad, but it's to the point where a Mighty Storm needs something, anything, to try and get a fight going in their way. And Trifecta, they probably aren't going to need that 500 gold, because if things go their way, this game's over right now. So either team could really warrant buying one of those potions this early on.
Hurriwind with the dash into the wall on purpose. They're looking for the stun onto Akillathehun, but Akilla very aware of it. He heard the noise go through, so we'll back away for the time being. Now, although in the mid lane, Cynosure's not having any of that, just continuing to pressure. But the focus will be on the left-hand side. Most of the time, that's the right lane to choose.
And all 3 waves are pushed very far up right now. So even if a Mighty Storm can kind of defend, maybe not lose the maybe lose the Phoenix, but not get wiped in terms of kills, Trifecta's going to have a chance to just march down each side and get all of these Phoenixes down.
Well, it looks like pressure's going to be on the mid lane here. Kiki's on the right-hand side, keeping a couple of members busy. Phoenix is starting to get pressured in the mid lane, down to half, and nobody on Storm committing just yet. They are still low. Through comes the ultimate from Hurriwind. It's not enough to get a kill, but on the left-hand side, it looks like a killer could be dead.
He got killed by Cynosure. Nice jump right out of that cage from Uzzy. Plasma goes in, and Cyno might fall here for the first kill for a Mighty Storm, but he's still got Aegis. They still have Khepri ult. He's fine.
2 Phoenixes down, and Uzzy has to leap away. One thing you don't really want to be having to do is Odin. Vivian's in trouble there, avoids the ricochet, but 2 basics is enough to bring him down, and Snoopy with the fireworks celebration with the ultimate. This should be the end of game 1. 20-0. Dominant performance from Trifecta.
Uzzy could maybe finish off Aror here, but they still have Shell. Nope, that's going to be a shutout. Trifecta, I don't know what else to say. I mean, they just beat the crap out of a Mighty Storm.
A kill a minute. Game over in 20 minutes. Pretty good job there from Trifecta. Yeah. Game 2, let's reset and go again, I guess is the only real thing we can do here.
I mean, sometimes you're just in those games. I mean, we've all had them where you just get destroyed and you're like, yep. You don't even get upset. You're just like, yeah, we just
This was over a few minutes ago.
Yeah, okay. Let's try and get the next one.
So what do you want to see them do this time? Because they had Odin, they had Osiris, so they had some pretty decent frontline and early game possibilities, but instead, if they fell behind really early, did they go for even earlier compositions? Is that possible?
I don't know if you can go for a much earlier composition than that. Yeah. If I'm a Mighty Storm, so as a competitive team, you've got a couple different drafts with picks in and out that you can swap. You know, we want to go for this sort of strategy, and we could pick this god or this god, depending on what they're giving us. You got a couple of those. It's time to completely abandon that one that you just used and go with 5 completely different gods, in my mind, because there is nothing salvageable from that game for a Mighty Storm. You just can't take anything from it.
Let's go into pick.